Thank you for joining me. This is Manny. I'm doing commentary for Nickelodeon Weinerville. This is gonna be really different and very exciting for me because in case you may or not know me, unless you subscribe to my channel, I have over 90 something videos on here. Um, I'm a big nostalgic '90s fan. Mostly stuff of a lot of things people have never heard of, or some things that are a little strange for people to comprehend. Well, this show definitely is one of those gems that I don't know what happened. I think the show just probably came out in the wrong time, and sadly, it didn't really take off. I mean, it did, but I mean, it just was really short lived. So, but this is why I love this show so much. This show is Nickelodeon Weinerville for people who don't know what this is. And this show ran from 1993 to 1994, and in reruns until 1997. This show is created by Mark Weiner, puppeteer and comedian. He was doing a lot of work on Saturday Night Live back in the days, in the late 70s and early 80s. And over the years, I think since '06 and '07, I think ever since YouTube came out, I found a bunch of these random intros for a bunch of old TV shows that were on YouTube back in the day, and one of these was this Weinerville opening, and it really brought back a lot of memories from when I was a kid, and I was like, I want to give this show a watch, and so I dug up my old VHS collection of recordings that I used to record the show all the time when I was younger. I was about 7 or 8 years old at the time, and it was the best. I enjoyed the big heads and the little bodies. I enjoyed Mark's interaction with himself. It was just really a neat idea to actually pre-record yourself in an outfit and actually be in front of a live audience and talk to yourself with great timing. And Mark was just really great at that. But not just that, he was also a juggler. He was a street clown, and performed actually with Robin Williams. And so I'm going a little bit off topic, but this whole thing was just great because it really brought back to the really old days of just like classic slapstick comedy, and of course the old 1950s idea of having a variety show with puppets, and that was sandwiched in between cartoons. Like this show right here. This is Mr. Magoo, and I used to watch Weinerville all the time with my parents, and my dad would always say how much that he remembers watching Mr. Magoo when he was a kid, and so we would always have a lot of fun. Just see like, oh my God, he's so nearsighted, and he's like he doesn't know where he's going, but yeah, it's really just a neat nostalgic trip for me at my age right now. I'm 27 years old, so I was about like 7 or 8 when the show came out, and I used to talk about this show all the time the next day of school with my friends. I watched this show every Sunday. I made sure that, I didn't care what was happening. I always just sat down and watched this show. It was just something just so out of the ordinary, and just, for not being on TV, because I grew up watching Pee-wee's Playhouse, and that again is another show that I really enjoyed. I love the arts. I'm a really artsy guy, and I really enjoy just the people just talking and interacting with puppets. People did that for years. Mystery Science Theater does that. Jeff Dunham does that. It's just really it's just a neat practical way of just people engaging in different personalities in their own entertainments. So yeah, more about the show. I really over the years too, we're going to 2007 now. Around that time, I was obsessed of just watching more of these episodes, and I was always curious why Nickelodeon has not released the show on DVD, and I guess I don't know if it's for licensing rights of cartoons, or I don't know, because I've emailed Mark a few times and he's always given me the same answer of just like email Nickelodeon and let them know. So what I did was the next year I made a Weinerville Tribute, and I wrote that like in the video, like, you know, email Nickelodeon / Viacom to release the show on DVD, and or hell, just put it back on TV. Which that case, it takes us into this little weird dramatic turn where the 90s are all that came around in 2011. And of course, I was just livid. I was just excited. I was like, yeah, this is going to be fantastic. Nickelodeon 90s is going to be back. This is great. We're going to have, you know, Pete and Pete. We're going to have all that. We're going to have Keenan and Kel. Kablam. Weinerville. It's going to be great. Unfortunately, it's just like, no, it didn't happen. What we had was just the same rehashed Nicktoons that we've been seeing. And of course, we did get Keenan and Kel, and we did get all that. I mean, the name is in the title of the 90s or all that, so of course we had that show. It's just, I don't know, it felt so, I felt just so disappointed, because I mean, I gave it 3 months of like, okay, when is Weinerville coming? When is Weinerville coming? This is great, but you know, when is Weinerville coming? So it's like there's no news. Around that time too, I befriended Max, which is Mark's son, on Facebook, and we've chatted a few times back and forth. Really nice kid, and he's even told me, like, you know, they've been showing like commercials and stuff, but they haven't heard anything about actually releasing the show on TV. So I really don't know what the deal is with that, because I mean, I figured if it's Paramount and UPA cartoons, which is what Weinerville showed, I mean, Viacom is a Paramount company with Viacom, so I pretty much think that they own their own cartoons. So I really just, I don't know what the deal is with that at all. And around that time, Mark and I have been sending emails to each other, you know, just periodically. I've sent his just his family and stuff, like, you know, Happy Hanukkah, you know, every holiday season, and just being like a good fan. And it's nice to hear that a celebrity like him would actually take the time to email me back, and it's fantastic. I think that he's a genuinely great person. So, and just to take time to answer, you know, questions from fans, possibly not just me, but I'm sure like many other fans that loved this show in the past and present. And now that it's on YouTube, it's great that, you know, people are actually understanding and remembering what the show was. Now, I really I'm not trying to toot my own horn here or anything, but I back in 2006 I read the Weinerville Wikipedia page, and it was just a paragraph long of what the show was and everything. I'm like, you know, there's a lot more to this show than there is on this page. So a friend of mine told me that you could actually, you know, edit your own pages. Like, hell, I mean, even my friend Justin, he made his own Wikipedia page, and unfortunately it would switch back to something else. But, you know, he changed he made the Wikipedia page into his own page, and I thought that was really neat. So I figured, like, I could take that idea and I could just, like, you know, I'm gonna open up Microsoft Word, and I'm just gonna write of what I remember about this show. If I could remember the titles of the episodes of the shows. And I didn't really know much until I looked up Mark Weiner's bio on the Weinerville.com website, and it showed, like, you know, his filmography and everything. It showed, like, okay, Nickelodeon Weinerville, 1993 to 1996, 62 episodes. I was like, okay, that's a great way to narrow things down. So I did like a big chart of 62, like 1 through 62, and I started to just remember what the titles were of some of the episodes and what the scenarios were. I really wish that I don't really know HTML very well, but if I did, I could write the synopsis for some of the episodes, and I apologize if I said that wrong, but anyway,
What a concept! A puppet under a puppeteer's control!
I love that joke. See, that's just one of the things I liked. he was just really clever with just, Sokko and everything. Golly, man, I'm gonna feel like such a nerd here, but when I was a kid, I used to think that Sokko was his own character, and Mark wasn't voicing him. But it was until like there was an episode where he was actually controlling Sokko, and one of the kids turned around at Mark and he said, "Oh, I'll talk for the puppet." So it took me a while, man, but I was a kid, and it was just a lot of fun just to see like these different personalities switch back. But anyway, yeah, I could write down the synopsis for some of the episodes, and it turned out that I knew pretty much the titles of the season 2 episodes and little more or less of the season 1 episodes, and it really amazed me that there was so much season 1 episodes, which is what I guess is like maybe in Orlando they filmed like from Kirk Fogg. He was on an interview and he said that they filmed 4 shows a day. So pretty much it was probably the same thing. I don't know what stage Weinerville used, and I don't know what stage Legends of the Hidden Temple or Guts used, but I'm pretty sure maybe they used the same stage since it was really big. And of course these are 90s commercials. Roundhouse I'd never really watched. These are, they're just... I'm going to be doing commentaries over the 90s commercials. And, Hand Glove. It was a good product. I wasn't a big fan of their big puffy jackets. I don't know. I was just never a big fan of those. They were just like, hey, look at me. I'm wearing the puffy jacket. I don't really care. So, yeah, Body Glove, Rocket, Radical. These are the Nostalgic Critic does a better job at commentating commercials than me, but you know what? This is just for fun. Yeah, so Pizza Hut. Yeah, awesome. Oh, look, X-Men. I could tell that I was really opposite ends of my friend's spectrum because there was like a handful of kids that really liked these Saturday morning cartoons. The superheroes and everything. As for me, I grew up with more of like the live action children's shows. I really enjoyed Mr. Rogers. I loved Sesame Street, Pee-wee's Playhouse, Weinerville, Beekman's World, Bill Nye the Science Guy. And my friends really they do like a few of the shows I listed, but let's see. They really liked, the superhero shows and stuff. My sister loved the superhero shows. I was just never a big fan. I enjoyed my kooky, crazy shows. And here comes the part of the show when 2 contestants get wienerized, which is something I've always wanted to do since I first saw this show. I would just love to be wienerized. When I first saw this as a kid, I was just like wondering, oh my god, it's like they're actually being shrunk. When it's when my parents just said, like, no, it's just an elevator that goes down, and it sort of looks like they're being squished. But it's really a unique concept. This whole show is just really, really crazy and out there, and I just love it. It was such a great staple from Nickelodeon, and if you haven't seen this show, I definitely give it a shot. I love it. A lot of people say it's corny or campy, but you know what? Sign me up. I love it. It's great. And it staples a lot of the sense of humor that I have as an adult, which I don't know. I seem to be like, people really like just me saying the most screwed up, unfunny, weird jokes, but they still laugh, and it's just fun. It's just a staple of my personality. And a lot of you people who may have watched my videos in the past, and a lot of my friends even they notice, like, I act so different when I'm on film than in real life. And I really kind of wish that I knew a way to sort of explain myself, because I think right now that I'm talking through this commentary that I'm doing, I'm pretty sure I sound really unnatural. But I guess I just feel the need to enunciate my words, because normally I just talk like this. And I don't know. Maybe I just need acting lessons or voice lessons. I don't know. But if you're still listening to this commentary, awesome. And thanks for listening. Now this is we're already almost done with this show, so this is Honey Halfwitch, which is another Paramount show. I remember this show from when I was growing up too. I think they had like another crossover show with this. I can't remember if it was still on Nickelodeon or not, but in the early days of Nickelodeon, they used to have these cartoons just appear like in the beginning of like, I don't know, early Saturday morning, I guess, before infomercials or something. I can't remember. But yeah, I mean, I guess from what I remember, they were okay. The animation here is alright. Sorry, excuse me. Yeah. It's really not much to say about this cartoon. I guess the second version of this cartoon is better. Or I don't really know. I think there's two versions of this show of Honey Halfwitch. There's one that there's this version here, which I guess is based on medieval times, and there's another version which is when Honey Halfwitch and her Aunt Maggie are living on top of the Empire State Building in New York. And the animation's a little different, and I think Honey Halfwitch is voiced by Cree Summer. But I don't hold me to that, I don't really know, but it's two different versions. I think I like the Cree Summer version better. I don't know, it had like it had sort of a better charm to it. It kind of looked like the old Flintstones in the first season of the Alvin Show. That really like Rocky and Bullwinkle. It's like had that whole choppy, different style, simple circles and designs and stuff. It was a little bit more appealing to me. These they're just way too detailed, and the animation just sort of doesn't flow. But of course, that's just my opinion. So we have the prince here, who's jealous old hag. And okay, there's a twist here in case you haven't seen this cartoon either. But yeah, in conclusion, Weinerville, I enjoyed this show, and it's a real shame that it hasn't been brought back on TV, which I'm really hoping that Nickelodeon would actually like do whatever they need to do to release the show, because rather or not that you read the Wikipedia that's right or wrong, it says underneath that, it says like, the show is in ownership of Mark Weiner, and that's a lie, because he emailed me and said email Nickelodeon since they have the show. So if it's in a VHS vault is collecting dust, Nickelodeon, just release it, put it on TV. If you don't have the rights to the cartoons, then, I don't know, show just the live action stuff, it doesn't really matter. Show the Nicktoons between these bumpers. But still, it was great, and I think honestly in today's world it might actually be a hit, because a lot of people are actually going back to this whole 90s stuff, kids with the backward hats and their pants sagging low, you know what I'm saying, with the big shoes and stuff. Oh my god, I sound so old right now. But let's see. Anyway, yeah, I think this would be a hit still nowadays. And in case you're wondering too, there's an interview that Mark said why he thinks that the show didn't continue. I don't know if I'm going to be quoting this the right way or not, but this is what I got from the interview. Here it goes. The show would have just continued if they would have went to a third season. Mark said that the show was not going to have the cartoon shorts anymore. It was just going to be just the puppets and him, and that would have been fine. But unfortunately, they didn't get renewed for a third season because Nickelodeon was just on the edge of just like, we need the violence, we need the hardcore, disgusting stuff. We don't need any more of these family-friendly romps and stuff. So I'm thinking that's why the show didn't have a third season. I don't know if I'm right or not, but from Mark Weiner's interview, I guess that's what I got from that, and that's really unfortunate, because I think honestly if the show would have came on in like the 80s or not early 90s, I think like sometime maybe in the 80s, this show would have probably had at least 5 or 7 seasons, at least. It would have been determined as a classic, which, I don't know. In my heart, I consider this a classic. It's a great show. And I still have at least 5 or 6 friends that remember this show and really liked it. I even showed them a few of these episodes, and people who don't know who Mark Weiner is and how awesomely talented he is, he could juggle great, and every time I show the clip from the talent show episode where Mark is juggling the rubber hand, the toilet plunger, and a peanut M&M, and it's it's really amazing how just incredibly talented he is, and what a nice spirit he is. And I'll get back to that in a minute. Last year was my birthday, and I sent off for a Weinerville shirt. Just I don't know any Weinerville things other than a poster, so I wanted to get a shirt, so I sent off for a Weinerville shirt, and he sent it back signed, and he gave me like a folder full of like an autographed picture and a bio of his, and it was really touching. So it really shows you what type of guy Mark is and how appreciative he is to his fans. And I really hope that people start to remember what type of good talent he was, and what type of person he is. So yeah, it's really neat that people actually that are celebrities still nowadays, they would actually take time to talk back to the fans and be happy that they touched their lives in some sort of way. So it's really neat. And this was the first stage of Playland. The second season, it was a lot bigger, and they got to shoot each other with like the creamerizers or fling pies at each other. So it was really cool. I'm really hoping more episodes of Weinerville surface in the future, so future generations can see more of these, because they're great. So who knows? I think everything eventually will be on DVD or Blu-ray. So I'll be definitely looking forward to this whenever it comes out. And for those of you who stuck along for this long rambling of a commentary, thank you for listening. I really appreciate it. And I'll just leave off by saying, hit it, Frank. And that's it. Thanks for listening, and thanks for watching. And good night. Take care.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Hit it, Frank!
Ooh, last thing. My favorite Mark Summers cameo.
You have a steady job! Who are you to come to my cave and insult me?
You know, Boney, this is getting really ugly.